our next start sub sit for you. What makes a productive practice in your mind? Okay. So would it be the competition throughout the practice, the flow of the practice, just being able to get in and out of drills, kind of build up? Or is it the breakdown, kind of the teaching moments when you want to build a concept and just how effective, efficient those moments are?
Very good question. I would like my players to go home and just remind the three things that we did in practice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's outlining the goal of the practices and go through those, both teaching wise and executing wise. I don't think necessarily, and I've learned this in the NBA, and I've seen this now in Europe where we play 90 games a year. I think there are you have practices where, let's say, the competitive part is limited, okay, because you don't want to run people to the ground, okay? But let's say attention to details have to be there. You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes in the game, you cover up for a lack of details carrying or efficiency or whatever, just with effort. I don't think it's right to allow that in practice too. I'd rather have less competition in terms of contact, whatever, but more mental effort. You got to be there and understand what we're talking about or what we're trying to improve. That's why I think players have to learn how to walk through. Walk through is very important to do it in the right way. We use a walkthrough with game pace, but no shooting and no hitting, but with game pace. Okay? Because if you go too slow, in my opinion, if you go too slow in a walkthrough, it's easier to lose focus. You got to learn to stay focused when you're doing fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't fall asleep. So we learned through the year not to have maybe contact, meaning that we don't do unnecessary contact. We don't jump on a shot, whatever. So there is no chance of an injury, but we do it fast. We do game pace.
If you're with a practice and so like a breakdown segment where maybe you're going to put in the pick and roll spacing or something like that, what would that look like in your practice? Is it 5-on-0 to start and then it's breakdown into 3s or 4s and then back to 5-on-5? Or how would you kind of introduce those?
Good question. I usually do a teaching moment at the beginning of the practice before even I start stretching or going up and down. I gather all the team and I just go slowly, telling them what we're doing and why in that specific thing. Then we stretch, then we start usually 4-on-0. 4-on-0, we go up and down and we take care of the details of the spacing and we do all the different, and then we go in let's say what I call, let me say in English, it's we put the defense, but it's 50% or we just shade, so they start doing this.
Like dummy defense?
And then, call it dummy defense. Then we go, next part of the practice, blah, blah. And when we go back to the offense again, we go 5-on-0, 5-on-5. Then the day after, if I have a day after, I can break it down in 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 2-on-2, whatever it is.
Okay.
But I think, so overall, it's the old school method. It's the old method, correct? But probably you can do that. For sure you can do that in one practice, I think.
Sure. Okay. Perfect.
We need to have at least 2. Yeah. And then when they do player development, let's say, we make sure that they shoot or they come off a screen with reference to what we're talking about.
Okay.
So for example, if that day we're talking about spacing versus an ice defense, okay, we're doing something related to that.
Relating that to the flow of the offense, and when you're maybe not with the spacing, but something maybe more tactical or conceptual where the guys are struggling. And I mean, I think we both know this. The struggle is good. It helps the learning, but will you then be willing to stay on it longer? Or do you think, okay, let's keep it moving or else we're going to lose them? I guess, where do you fall when it's struggling?
And another good point. Beginning of my career, I could stay there 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned, thanks to people who taught me, when it's not working, let it there and get back next day.
Okay,
Because
sure.
that can put you in a situation that you will lose it. You will become too hard on your practice, on your players. That can create bigger problems than a bad execution offensively or defensively.
Perfect.
So I learned that I have to say, okay, that's it. Let's move on.
Okay.
No,
We'll talk. Maybe I can let you know. I can raise my voice, but let's go to the next topic.